Well, Paul's here, of course, to discuss the Classic Car Show 2021. But before we do this, let's just talk a bit about Paul, because we've been on many times, but there's always plenty of things to talk about Paul, isn't there, before we get to the nitty-gritty of what you're really here for. Now, you came to the station in a very nice motor car. Can you tell the listeners what you've come up in? Very nice. I can see it out the window. So
yes, it's a lovely car.
There's nobody threatening the paint job that I can see walking around.
No.
What have you got here?
What we've got here today is a 1962 Volkswagen Karmann Ghias. That's my wife's car. It's a very lovely looking. It's this really. I'm going to use air quotes here, but say sports model of the standard Volkswagen.
It is. It's very sporty looking, but it has beautiful lines.
Beautiful lines. Yeah. Well, the bodywork was designed by the Ghias company. Ghias Carrosserie, and they did styling in Italy. There was a German company which also did body styling, which was Karmann. That was a German company, and they had tried to put a sporty body on the Beetle, but the Volkswagen people said nine.
I think yes.
9. But the Italians, they that CC, yes, they put a body over it, and they showed it to the
Santa Maria.
How many cc's was the engine again? What cc?
That's a 1200cc engine.
The big one.
The big one. Yes, yeah. But they put a body of this beautiful, streamlined, curvaceous, sporty body over the top of an ordinary Beetle, and they showed it to the Volkswagen management, and they went, wow, yes, that would be a great car to sell.
It has wow factor. It really does.
Yes, yeah. It's very good. It's a great little car. It drives really well. Of course, being a Volkswagen, it's entirely reliable and easy to repair when it breaks down.
Yeah. Because you never see them sitting on the side of the road.
No. You see them on the side of the road. Sometimes they've got rust holes right through the floor and through the body, and someone will just, put a bit of petrol in and boom, away they go and drive across the country in it.
I have to be highly complimentary towards the Karmann Design House, because here you go, folks. I'm going to wrench Triumph into the discussion. My first Triumph was a TR6, which, of course, was the restyled TR5, restyled by Karmann in Germany, with the beautiful camtail at the back and stunning little car. Beautiful.
Lovely vehicle. Yeah. I think Karmann went out of business only just recently.
What I wanted to know from you, Paul, did you have to have a sign-off release to drive this car from your wife, or was that you were just immediately allowed to, you get the nod to take it up to Karmann?
I have special driver privileges on that vehicle. And, I'm required to drive her around in it whenever she needs, so I can drive it. Yes.
Well, and you were saying it hasn't been out for a little while, so
yeah, it hasn't been out for a little. So good to get it on a long run up to Kalman.
No, that's good.
Yes. You don't want to do any bearings going up Gooseberry Hill Road, do you?
No, well, it's not like my DKW, which struggles up the hill in first gear. That one really doesn't like the hill at all.
But, when you say you're going to bring the DKW, and I said, the show's on around about 9 o'clock. You start up around about 5 a.m. in the morning, don't you?
Something like that.
You're being highly uncomplimentary, Terry.
Yeah, you haven't seen his oil burner yet, or rubber burner car yet?
No, but I have seen them before, and I have indeed smelt them before, so...
Yes, you're being a little bit unkind to my DKW. It loves driving out on the row highway. It hurtles along very well, and then as soon as the gradient goes up above 1 degree, it slows right down and struggles to get up that hill.
Well, I tell you what, though, Paul, driving these cars, you have to have a sense of humour, haven't you? You do, but they're wonderful cars. They're beautiful cars, and I tell you what, I must say that. Well, when you do drive on the road highway, wherever you drive, that people must be looking at these cars all the time and just admiring, what you have. I think that's one of the things, because just so unusual, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the general public who are interested in automobiles, and you see this on various Facebook pages, they're just delighted to see a car that they remember from years before, not only on the road, but clearly running.
Yes.
And that gives great pleasure.
Yeah, it is. There's a really unusual thing I've noticed as well with little children. Like kids who are like 2 and 3 years old, that they can recognise an old car or an unusual car and will point it out. Because you kind of think they've never seen old cars or don't, they've got no connection to that, and yet still they can point it out and throw up their arms and go, ooh, there's something different. And I love seeing that.
Of course, the poor little sods are surrounded by modern vehicles, and sometimes it's very difficult to tell the difference between a German sports utility, a Korean sports utility, a Japanese sports utility. So I'm sure to the little people, modern cars kind of look all the same.
Yes.
So they're confronted with a beautiful Volkswagen Karmann Ghias or heaven forfend, a Triumph Stag, and they are clearly drawn to the different lines and the styling.
Yes, yeah.
Automotive design has changed so much.
I generally get in my car that when I stop the lights and they have one down the window and they say, "Do you need help?"
But that's not because of your car.
Or the RAC. Which one do you want? Can I call a number for you?
Yeah, that may be more of a personal concern for you, Terry, rather than the automobile that you're sitting in.
Look, we should put a sponsorship on.
I think so.
No, thank you.
So, Paul.
Back on air again.
Paul, thank you, Terry. Paul. There seems to be a very Deutsche proclivity in your household. What else?
Jawohl.
Jawohl. Mein Gott in Himmel. What else is in the Markham stable?
What's in the Markham garage? Okay, so my wife's got the 62 Karmann Ghias we just talked about. The first first vintage car we bought was a 1959 DKW. Now, DKW was a predecessor mark of the modern Audi. It was one of the 4 original companies that formed Auto Union.
Hence the 4 circles.
4 circles, yep. Audi was one of them, but Audi kind of went out of business by 1939. And then there was that thing called the war.
Well, that's it. I was just going to say they went out of business in 39 because Hitler walked into Poland. So.
Something like that.
He could have driven a DKW. They probably did. It broke down.
No, if you recall,
walk into Poland.
If you recall, my friend, he was in a heavily chromed Mercedes-Benz most of the time.
wasn't Mr. Hamilton at the wheel, was it?
No.
Probably because he had one on standby. That's why.
Possibly. So yes, the DKW.
They were a budget car after the Second World War. 2 and 3 cylinder 2-stroke motors. Really, really nice car though. Very well built, and that ended up leading in 1965. They changed over to 4-stroke engines, and that changed the name to Audi. Became the company that we know and love today. So.
Paul, before you go, who sold them in WA? Who were the dealers, distributors? Do you know that sold DKWs and things like that?
Yeah, there was a dealership in. There were actually 2 dealerships in Perth, but their name escapes me. I think Winterbottoms was one.
Winterbottom Falls.
Yeah.
Or Winter Falls. Yes.
Winter Falls. Yeah, they originally had motorcycles, and they sold cars for a period up to the beginning of the Second World War. So 1939, they stopped selling them because there was no more imports coming over, and DKW were never able to re-establish a export market back to Australia. So we had none. None came thereafter. A couple came over, but.
So where did you get yours from? Privately or?
Yeah, I actually bought that in South Africa.
Right.
Yeah, it came over, and it's lulled us into a false sense of security because it was really cheap,
and it spoke Afrikaans.
Yeah, it does. Still got Afrikaans stuff, stickers all over it and things. But it ran, and it had never needed any work. And it was like, this vintage car game is easy.
Yes, what a
Buy
doddle.
another one. Okay.
What a doddle.
Yes. Then we bought the Volkswagen and discovered the joys of rust in Volkswagens, which was a lot of fun.
Okay.
After that one, then another unusual vehicle landed in my lap by chance, which was a 1952 Tatra from Czechoslovakia.
Indeed.
And yeah, that was a bit of a An accidental purchase. I say accidental again with air quotes because I'd always said, "Oh, I'd really love a Tatra," and then someone said, "I've got one for you."
You always said, "Oh,
It almost sounds like he saw you coming, Paul.
Yes. Again.
He sold you the first one, didn't he?
No. And then
Now,
of course,
there's a car that makes a statement when it's on Perth roads, is a Tatra.
yes.
You don't see it very often.
You don't. Sometimes you see it down at Bunnings in Melville.
Yes,
but,
when you happen to be doing a few jobs around the house, but beautiful
nothing like,
car.
taking
Beautiful
that
car.
to the Bunnings.
No.
And then because I like having problems in my life, I bought another DKW, a 953 DKW from Portugal, which was
Portugal?
the
Really?
because after the war they kind of produced a sort of mix of a pre-war and post-war car, as happened with all the companies.
Most vehicles were. Yeah.
So it had the two-cylinder 700cc two-stroke motor.
You demon of the speed. A whole 700 cc's for one car.
cc's, 24 horsepower.
Good Lord.
With the new steel body over the top of it, which was planned for 1940 release, but it got delayed because of that war business.
Yes. Those chaps stomping through Europe.
Yes.
So did you buy that direct from Portugal?
Yeah.
Imported direct?
Yes, yeah. And that came somewhat of a famous car because it got seized at the border because of the asbestos 100% lockdown.
No, I thought perhaps he hadn't paid the duty on the box load of Matus Rosé that was sitting in the back. But
apart from that white powder, it's only Johnson's baby powder.
no, it's just coffee whitener. Ignore it, officer.
Yeah, so that was one of the first vehicles to be impounded because of the lockdown on asbestos products.
Oh, really?
It's had a huge impact on the importation of vehicles from
absolutely
Europe.
makes it nightmarish.
Have we seen that, Paul? You haven't brought that up here, have you?
No, it's currently sitting in my garage with the one side off and the engine on a bench. So
and probably the best place for it, Paul. I think 700 cc's attempting the Gooseberry Hill Road might just be the end of it.
Could be a challenge.
When did you bring this in? What year did you bring it in?
Oh, that'd be about 2017.
Oh, right.
It's been a long-term project. We've been working on that for a while. But then, additionally, because I'm also a little bit crazy on the two-wheel side of things, I've got an East German scooter called a Troll. And honestly, that is its name, Troll. 1964. It has all the pleasing stylings of a Soviet tractor. So like a very square block
and equally as comfortable to ride on.
Yeah, actually, that surprisingly it is.
Yeah.
It just plods along. As long as speed is not your thing, you can go anywhere with it. You can plough a field with it.
That's it. It's a utilitarian motorcycle.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
The people's motorcycle.
Yeah, and then I've gone a little bit English as well in the motorcycle field because I've got a 1958 Ariel leader.
Oh, beautiful!
Which is a lovely machine.
Yeah.
So you're obviously you're ambidextrous. You can ride a bike and attempt driving some of these cars as well.
Yes, yeah.
Well, people know that I owned a bus. But I think it has more. My bus had more get up and go than some of your collection.
Undoubtedly, Terry. Undoubtedly.
Yeah, there's a couple of those vehicles are not going to make it out here.
Do you get some strange looks from your neighbours when you open the garage
friends?
Door
Yes.
And what's your normal vehicle to go to work in, Paul?
I take the bus. I live on a main road, and it just allows me to hop on the bus. But for going up to the shops, it's we've just bought ourselves a 2019 Hyundai Accent.
Oh yes.
I know some people then go, oh,
was that to just make you comfortable with the neighbourhood? That they thought, he's not all that bad.
Yeah, but he still takes the Tatra to Bunnings.
He gets that 4x2 piece of wood going in one door and out the other. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you can't help. You got to have something normal.
Define normal, Paul.
Define normal.
Define
Well,
normal.
yes.
This is a man with 2 DKWs.
Well, you belong to the, what's the club called? Tell us about the club that you belong to.
Okay,
I
well-
can never remember it. I know what I'd call it, but
Terry.
what's the official name of the club?
Terry, nicely.
What's
Play
the official
nice,
name of the
Terry,
club?
come
What's
on.
the official- Oh, no, he's not a guest anymore. He's been here. He's on staff now.
Oh,
Yeah.
good Lord, Paul, you're in trouble
no,
now.
no.
Yeah, we want your dough. That's all for the weekly appearances.
Well, I was going to say, give it another month, and like me, he'll be trying to replace you, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a question in there, and
If there was.
There was. Well,
Thanks for that.
so
I
yes.
works in the bank.
Yeah.
Carry on. Yes.
Okay, the club that I'm currently with is called the KBG.
See now, Mr. Blank was talking about this
Yes.
on his visit a few weeks ago, and I did say, sounds like, a Russian Secret Service group, and he said, funny you should mention it.
Yes.
So, yes, tell us a little bit about the club.
The KBG, the Cars and Bikes Group, is a kind of a relaxed, easygoing association of kind of people who like unusual vehicles, be they 2-wheel, 3-wheel or 4-wheel. So we've got a very varied mix of people who've got all kinds of bizarre interests. And some of those interests are quite out there. We've got people with veteran vehicles right through to, more
Semi-modern.
more semi-modern but unusual. A lot of bikes, because there's an interesting vintage bike scene around the place as well.
There is.
Do lots and lots of coffee run kind of things, and keep to informal kind of events.
And this is what Paul was saying. It's very much a loose social grouping, but the thing that binds you is this love of automotive that is somewhat offbeat.
Offbeat, yeah, that's a really good way of describing it.
Yeah.
And you got people like me
Yes.
and Paul and a few others who've got some offbeat and unusual vehicles in their collection.
So you have a group run to Beacton Bunnings? Is that where you go? Is where you all meet?
No, that's only where he takes the Tatra.
Oh, I didn't know.
Melville
I
Bunnings.
might go for a morning out or a luncheon out at the sausage sizzle at Bunnings.
Well, there you go. There's an opportunity. Sausage sizzle was a destination. Why not? If someone was to say, sausage sizzle run.
Was there
Bunnings, let's
an
go.
official Czech Republic style sausage?
Oh, there could have been.
There could have been. There probably was. Sausage very big in Europe.
They're very, very big in Europe.
Well,
Yes.
we do need to pause, gentlemen, because we do need to say people who pay for our little 30-minute segments.
Absolutely, Terry. How about you shut up and just play the track?
Let's go with this one here.
Good man.